Hey there, job seekers, career movers. Ron Kroger, author of New Career in 90 Days. Today, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process of how we used to prepare our candidates to interview. When I say that, we as an agency would be paid 20% of someone's annual salary for presenting a candidate that was hired. If someone was paid $100,000 in a salary, we would receive $20,000 of that. And in order for us to get the best opportunity for that candidate to be hired, we would take every measure in order for them to be hired. And one of the big measures we would take is interview preparation. So I'm going to take you through that step-by-step process today, and I'm grateful to be here with you. Hopefully you've been enjoying some of our other videos and some of the shorts that we have. The first step in the candidate being prepared is mindset. Are you ready for your interview? Are you having a good day? And for you who are about to interview, it's really important that you start your day with your normal routine, looking at yourself in the mirror, telling you how amazing you are, and that you will visualize this job being in your future if you really want it. In the beginning of all of it, we have to start with begin with the end in mind. And that is from a book by Stephen Covey that you may be familiar with, 7 Habits of Successful People. And there is an 8th habit. We can talk about that later, but moving forward, mindset is everything. Make sure you're in the right mindset. You're ready to take the offer if it was given, or be able to discover what it is you want to do next steps. So mindset, start with everything. Begin with the end in mind. So the next step in this interview preparation process is knowing how long you're going to take to get there to the job. I would highly recommend doing a practice run from your home to the job. If it's 35, 45, 55 minutes, it may be a consideration to debate whether you want that job or not. Having a job within 30 minutes of your home for emergencies or whatever the case is, that's really important. But driving there, showing up and taking a look, oh, yep, I got here in exactly 30 minutes. So you always want to be 5-10 minutes early. You check in, you're ready to interview. Whoever you talk to, whether it's a secretary or an administrative assistant or whatever the case is, when they greet you, you want to be cheerful and make sure that they are someone that you meet eye to eye and you handshake and you are able to communicate with them. And they're going to get a feel for who you are. And we'll definitely give a recommendation to the hiring manager. Say, hey, they're ready to roll. They're looking in their best dress. Wear your best dress. I would wear a Sunday, whatever you would wear to go to church, or a suit, a skirt, dress, blouse, whatever your best dress is. Maybe not a tuxedo, but at least something that is professional, or I would just be your best that you can be to brightly shine, because you're going to create an environment. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, is creating an environment that allows you to shine brightest. So next steps after you got your mindset right, your dress is right, you've done your practice to get there, you're ready to impress. And it's not about, oh, I want them to just see the best me. It's having them see the best us, meaning they're going to see who you are at your best, absolutely, and that's what you want to show, but you're going to be able to see them at their best, hopefully, as well, because you're in the right mindset to be your best. Hopefully that makes sense. Next step is to create an environment for you to interview well. So now you're in the interview. So you're with the hiring manager, and let's just say you're interviewing with Joanne. My name is Ron. So I would greet Joanne. Great to be with you today. So grateful to be able to have the opportunity to visit and see if there's a fit between my experience and education, business itself, as well as the job experience and what the role is for me. So I'm going to introduce myself. She's going to say, okay, Ron, tell me about yourself. I'm going to share my me in 30 seconds. So Ron Kroger here in Kansas City. And I have 7 kids, 10 grandkids, and so looking forward to contributing my experience and education to a company like yours to be able to improve upon the culture and be able to help in a variety of ways according to the job description. And I wanted to share with you, Joanne, before we talk about me, what are you looking for in someone that would be a fit for this position? So the first step in the interview is to tell a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you don't want to skirt, let's not talk about me. What are you looking for in someone? You don't want to be that way. You want to be very positive. You want to be uplifting and very congenial. So you're looking her in the eye, talking to Joanne as a professional. Because today we're not just interviewing so I can show you what I'm made of. I'm interviewing to see if this really makes sense for both of us. I'm preparing you for the interview. So you're going to meet and greet me in 30 seconds. And then the first question is, what are you looking for in someone? You want to have a paper and pencil ready. I got my paper right here, my notes. I can take notes. And I'm about to ask her that question. What are you looking for in someone? And Joanne responds, well, Ron, we're looking for someone to lead our talent acquisition team. We're looking for someone to be a manager of our restaurant. Whatever the things they're saying, write them down. So manager a restaurant. And we're looking for someone to lead and inspire other people to make our great environment, our great culture even greater. We're looking for a leader and someone that is going to be a key contributor, be able to take the level of the team to the next. And so all these things I'm writing down as she says and responds to my question, which is, what are you looking for in someone? So each person that you interview with, and you may interview with the hiring manager, someone on their team, every single person is a huge factor in them saying you're the right person or not, especially the administration person coming out to get you, being cheerful and focused and eye contact. They're so important because it's respectful. It's a good person that looks you in the eye, shakes your hand, and is congenial. The next step in this interview, obviously meeting with the person, Joanne, we ask her the question, what are you looking for someone? We write taking notes. And she's observing you while she's talking. You're taking notes on what she's saying. She's like, oh, okay, that's pretty impressive. Because what she says is important to you. So now I wrote down the things she said. And so my response is, so the first thing you said is you're looking for a leader in the talent acquisition. So I'm going to interview for a position that I am currently working in, senior talent acquisition. We're going to prep you today is for the position you're looking for. So if you ever want to consult with me or talk to me and need coaching, I'm hireable for sure. I can work with one-on-one, I can work with groups and be able to prepare you to interview the best you can be. And it's really, again, creating an environment that you're going to be successful in. That environment you're creating by asking the right questions. So she told me 5 things. Being a leader. So Joanne, as a leader in almost every position that I've had, or even if I wasn't hired as a leader, I always was given the role and responsibility to lead others because it's just kind of how I am naturally. And I worked at Diversified as a leader because I was sales manager. And I also trained and helped other sales managers up through the ranks to become leaders as well. I've also worked at Genesis 10 as a leader. I led our department in hiring 10 to 15 Java developers at Sprint. And I led them by example. I led them through my ability to be successful. So I'm itemizing, again, all these things, telling Joanne what she's looking for and how I did it in the past, being very specific. The next step on question, we need someone that's going to help the younger folks. I'm in my 50s, so they're looking for someone older that's going to be able to help inspire others on the team, promote the great culture that they already have. Whatever those things are, again, you want to write them down and then point out where you worked before and what you did to be that thing they're asking for. This piece of puzzle that they're looking to fill is something they're going to start closing doors on. They're going to say, oh yeah, he's a leader. He is someone that inspired others. He has worked with Workday, the software we're looking for. He has worked with people and hired Java developers, technical skills. All these things I've responded to her and where I did them, how I did them. I hope that makes sense. And I don't think we have to get into too many more details, but when they respond to you, what are you looking for in someone? And you write down the things they say, you feed right back to them what they're looking for exactly. The next person you interview with may be a little bit different. Maybe I'm interviewing with someone on the team, the talent acquisition team, and they say, yeah, they're not looking for a leader. They're looking for someone to help them get their job done. The next big part of this, and the question they're going to ask you is, so where do you see yourself in 5 years, 3 years? What's in your future? And they may even say it's not necessarily about specifically the job, but in life. But I'm going to give them a kind of a generic answer. So the next question might be, and you're going to film this at some point in time. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? My response is going to be this. You know, Joanne, I am really looking forward to proving myself on this team, integrating and becoming part of the great culture you have here and taking on more responsibility. Now that answer seems kind of generic, but to her, he's someone that wants to be a contributor, take on more responsibility, and be someone that adds to the team. Those 3 things are huge in her mind. And the next person I interview with may think something totally different to that answer that I give them. But future goals, and I do look forward to taking some time with my family after I prove myself after a few years. So you're giving them answers that are really not so specific to say, well, I'd like to be a manager of this department, oh, that's my job. She leans back. She's probably gonna lean back if you say something like that. That's my job. It's a little threatening to her. You don't want to be threatening. Just be generic. I want to prove myself. I want to be able to take on more responsibility and add to the culture. Those three things are huge. They're great answers. And based on the questions response that you said to her, here's what we're looking for, you can integrate some of those things in there as well. The next part of this question, or this interview, so we first, what are you looking for in someone? What do you look for in the future? A third part of this is, how about money? What kind of money are you looking for, Ron? Joanne says, and I respond to her, well, money is not the first focus I have here. I want to make sure this is a fit for you and for me as I look into what the responsibilities are. It seems like I've done everything on your list to fulfill the role. So money is not my first concern. I'm really here for the opportunity. Great answer. And it doesn't really talk about dollars and cents. But at the end of the answer, I'm going to say, but I know you'll be fair, Joanne. So when you give answers like that, I'm not here for the money, I'm here for the opportunity, but I know you'll be fair. And typically I might accept that. And if she in her heart of hearts knows the budget, she's going to know that I'm coming in at the top of wherever the budget is, because I'm proving myself in this interview that I can do the job. If they continue to push you on, oh, well, give me a dollars and cents figure, you can then say, instead of being generic in response, say, you know, I understand the range of it, and most companies have put the range out there. I understand the range of this position is between $80,000 and $120,000. I'd like to be at the top of the range. And again, I know you'll be fair. So again, you're sharing the range of whatever the position is from what your research is. Hopefully you've done the research, you went on the website, you looked for comparables and jobs, you know your experience. I promise you, if you know your value, they will pay your value. If it's a good company. If it's not a good company, they're going to try to get you cheap and try to get you to work for cheap. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be in a good company that gives bonuses or incentivizes things. The 5 C's of a good company or good role and position are something I'll be sharing and it is shared in my book as well, in the Career in 90 Days. So we've addressed 3 questions so far. The first question is, what are you looking for in someone? And you've got the answers and you've fed back the information, just closing the doors of concern for you. The second question was, where do you see yourself in 5 years in the future? And again, all these questions may not be exactly asked, but they're going to ask these type of questions to get a sense for who you are, where you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. There's going to be other questions. There may be crazy questions they ask you just to see how you react. Maybe even how many Jaguars are in the state of New York? I just want to hear your thoughts. And they're going to ask some of those questions. How many Jaguars are in the state of New York? Well, I understand or know there's about 10 million people in the New York City area. And I'm thinking maybe 1% of people own Jaguars. So that's 100,000, is 1% of Jaguar owners. So I'm going to say maybe about 100,000. It's just how you think. They want to know what drives you. What is it that's important to you? What are the things that are going to help them decide that you are the right person for the job? They could ask all kinds of other questions too. Be prepared for them. But those 3 questions are very, very solid. So when you finish up the interview, again, this is all prep for an interview. You can watch this video over and over and over for your prep and prepare yourself and write these questions down on a piece of paper that you're going to bring with you anyway, so you can be reminded, because sometimes you get nervous in these interviews. And something that I do, and I do often, is meditate. And when I say meditate, I mean I just really focus on the inner me so that I can be the best outer me. So as you finalize the interview, they're going to say, are there any other questions? Hopefully you've been here 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour, talking professionally about this job and the role and the company. And I always ask the person I'm interviewing, what do you like about this company? What are things that you love about working here? And they're going to tell you on the company. And if they like you, it's good. But if they start not selling you, think, maybe they're not really that much interested in me. And let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about you asking good questions. You're going to come up with a variety of other questions. And I wouldn't talk much about benefits at this point. They're going to give you a benefits sheet and those kind of things after the interview. And you can counter an interview if they lowball you, and you can counter and say, I like this position. I felt like it was a great interview, but I want to get the offer. I want to have at least acknowledgement that she's about to give me an offer and she doesn't need to interview anyone else. So these are things to think about. I'm throwing a lot at you, but this is the prep we give to each of the candidates, asking good questions like, so what do you like about this company? How long have you been here? Oh yeah, that's awesome. Look her in the eye or look them in the eye and make sure they feel like you are engaged in the conversation. If you're on your phone, never take out your phone. Never, ever take out your phone. Start looking on that while you're in an interview. That's just taboo. It just shows the lack of respect and interest. Again, moving forward through this interview, you're down to the last few questions. And they say, are there any other questions? If you talked everything out, I have 2 more questions for you. The last 2 questions are this. Joanne, do you see me fitting in with the team technically? And do you see me fitting in culturally with the team? So what do those questions mean? Do I fit in technically? Or is my skills and experience, education, good enough to make this team better? That's what you're asking her. And she knows, do you see me fitting in with the team technically? The second question is, do you see me fitting in with the team on the cultural base? Like, maybe they're all 30 years old. I'm in my 50s. You know what? You seem like you're pretty lively, so you're going to be fit in just with them. Do you like going out after work on a Friday night for having a beer? Oh yeah, I definitely will go out and hang out with them. I don't know if I'll drink because I don't drink. I think it sounds like a great idea to hang out with the team and build those relationships. So she's going to share with you right then and there if you got the job or not. Do I fit in technically? Do I fit in culturally with the team? Technically, yep, you have everything except for this one piece. You don't really have the Peachtree experience that we're looking for in the software, and I'm going to respond to her. So Peachtree is really important for this position to fit in as a talent acquisition specialist. Then I'm a fast learner. I can learn that quickly. I've seen it before. I understand what it is. I've used all kinds of software, so that won't be a problem fitting in there at all. And she'll be, oh, okay, good. So there's an answer, a good enough answer for her that she feels like I'm going to be able to fit in with the technology or the software that they're using. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Do I fit in culturally? Yep, you are a little bit older than the other team, but you know what? You have a lot of life. You're really exciting. You seem like you're inspiring. So now she's selling me on me because I asked 2 questions. Do you see me fitting in? So she's starting to tell me all these things that make sense to her why I'm a fit. Again, I'm preparing you for an interview. Remember these things. So then I'm going to say, after she's starting to sell me, if there's concerns, I'm going to address them. But if she's starting to sell me on me, then I know the next question is going to be, so what are the next steps in order to start? Not do I have the job, not when do I start, but what are the next steps in order to move forward with this position or start this position? If she responds, well, we have 5 other interviews, so we'll tell you in another week or 2. I don't have the job. I know already that she's got other people in mind. But if she says, you know what, I feel like you definitely will fit in and I'd like to start moving forward. I've had this happen dozens of times with all kinds of interviews. You'll know you have that job if you ask the right questions. So hopefully this prep helped you and allows you to prepare for your next interview, because your next interview could be the life-changing experience of working with a company you love, getting paid what you like or want or need,